Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to episode 106 of the Biz Birthday Bash podcast. We are very excited to be talking about 'tis the season for holiday shop prep. Woohoo! This is very exciting for us this year, mainly for Cami because she is working out of her brand new space, which is so fun and so needed. So before we dive into all of our holiday shop prep tips, we're going to talk to Cami for just a minute to get the down low on everything and how the new studio is going.
I know. Hey guys, it's me, obviously. But oh my gosh, someone just pulled in. Okay. Yes, I am at the new space. I moved in officially last week, so I've been here for about a week now. If you missed the announcement on Instagram, I got a studio space outside of my house, and I signed a lease maybe 3 weeks ago. And moved in, and it all happened so quickly because I wasn't necessarily being okay, I'm going to find a space. But once you find something and it works out, you just move, or at least that's the way I work.
Yeah.
So timing wise, absolutely horrible, but also absolutely great because it came right after the fair wholesale market. So in the midst of moving, we have the most wholesale orders we've ever had in our life. So it's been shenanigans trying to still conduct business while moving things. So lots of fun there. It's pretty chaotic, but the new space is also set up to, in the future, also be a brick and mortar space. So I'll have a little retail area as well, which is very exciting. So just throw another monkey wrench into the system, but you just got to do it because it just lends itself so well to it. So I'm pretty excited about that aspect too. But yeah. I'm in my little office here. I've got a back room. I have a little kitchen area, my own break room. I'm this is so wild right now.
Yes. But the saddest thing is that your coworkers are no longer with you in your space.
The kitty cats are not here. It's very sad. I am a little pleased that I won't have cat hair in everything I send out. So that's nice because that's always been stressful. Some tea towels I just have to sacrifice because they will get into the tea towel shelf and sleep on top of one of them. And I'm this one's mine now because there's nothing I can do about it. But
right.
I think there's 11 stray cats outside my window. So who knows what'll happen. Just kidding. I can't get a shop cat because we all know I'll feel bad for the shop cat and it'll eventually be a home cat. And I just can't do that.
Yeah. You could not tempt yourself with that. It would be way too hard. Well, it has been very fun and very exciting to see Cami move into her new space, and I'm always FaceTiming her and show me all the things, give me the tour. And so it's really cool to see that this space has 4 or 5 different rooms. They kind of all interconnect together.
5. It's 5 different rooms. It's 1,200 square feet. So room, a lot of good room, but still kind of tight.
Yes.
I definitely could go bigger, but this one just was I felt like it was a risk that wasn't too terribly big. If all failed, and I had to pay for this for the next 2 years and I didn't even have a business anymore, it wouldn't destroy me. It's okay. I'm okay, yes. I can throw that money away. It's all right. So it didn't feel too scary. I feel now my life is just buying as many shelves as possible and trying to arrange things in ways that make sense and thinking about, if I have workers here, where could they sit? How can I make this comfortable so they don't feel they're crammed in a corner? Things like that you would never necessarily think about.
Yes.
So trying to also think of keeping this workflow wise, walking around and also comfortable and also storage to the max. So there's a lot of different factors going into it, but it's fun. It's kind of just all coming together piece by piece.
Yes, and it really is the perfect space. And I bugged Cami for a long time, and then I stopped bugging her. And then it was she found the perfect place on her timing and God's timing, because of course that's how things work. And it is so exciting. And considering the fact that you made your house work for this many years with things spread out forever, I know that you can be efficient in a quote unquote smaller space. Like, I have no doubt that you guys will still figure everything out and everything
Yes.
will have a home. And plus, like, even if you assemble a whole ton of party pennants, they're going to be going out the next day anyways. So it's not like
I
they're going to
know.
be like sitting on the shelf forever, taking up space.
No, definitely not. Like party pennants, it's like I can't even like keep like a back stock. I don't even know how, but we're going to shortly because I'm going to have people here. So I also hired people. So that's very exciting.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I know. It's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, it takes time to like find the right spot and find one that you feel comfortable within your budget and isn't in a weird part of town or, you know, it feels right. Like it has to feel right too. It's like buying a house, except a little scarier. So yeah, it just takes time.
Exactly. We will do another whole episode on that at some point, I'm sure. Probably like after the holidays are over. You guys, we are planning so far ahead because believe it or not, we basically have the entire podcast calendar filled for the rest of the year. And we are only in the second week of August. So we feel super, super freaking accomplished about that. But to get to it, let's go ahead and talk about holiday shop prep, y'all. I'm basically going to be letting Cammie take the lead on all of this because she's the one that does so much, and I will chip in as needed just for additional conversation and support.
Yes. Oh my gosh, y'all. I like every year the holidays sneak up on me every single year. I don't know what it is. Like, oh, it's just crazy. And you guys know how bananas the back half of the year gets. And if this is your first time selling in the holiday season, then get ready because it just gets crazy. And there's just like never, like you feel like you're prepared and you're like, nope, still not prepared. So we're going to do our very, very best. And this is just we're going to go through some of the main things you need to think about, especially if you're a new seller or a seasoned seller. Just some tips that I learned over last year with like my biggest holiday selling season of all time. And it was just, it was so much. Like I'm already so tired just thinking about the holidays this year. But we'll go through and just talk about some best practices on those things. So we're starting early, guys, in August. So this is like the time to be thinking like to really start having your stuff being made and being put out there. So doing all the prep work. So I always like to look at the trends and kind of think like, what direction do I want to go this year? And where do I want to take my product collection? That kind of thing. Or how can I maximize the products I already have to fit into this year's trend? So I always start with looking at the trends. I love trends. Etsy does send out a really cool email that has their trend report. So you can look at that too, as well as looking at what influencers are kind of talking about already, because they're always like ahead of the curve, seeing what kind of sold last year. I mean, looking at Pinterest, there's so many different ways to kind of see what's starting to trend, but here's some of the ones coming up, because let's talk specifics. Got to have specifics, guys. So some of the upcoming trends this year for 2021 is that cottagecore aesthetic. If you don't know what that is, just think Taylor Swift folklore. That's kind of the vibe, okay? So like dried flowers, mushrooms, like anything like celebrates nature, like the trees, like foggy trees. That definitely goes in that kind of vibe. Like very getting back to nature, simple living, that whole thing. Floral patterns that like vintage grandma's curtains kind of look too. So that's huge this year. So anything that can play up with that. Owls and foxes are definitely making a comeback. Those were really big a few years ago and they're totally coming back. So if you have stuff that has owls and foxes in it, might be a good time to start re-promoting that. I think traditional colors are going to be really big this year, just like traditional red and green holiday, but also I think there's going to be lots of that, like that peppy, colorful holiday colors with like really cheerful brights and like neons, like neon colors for holiday, as well as pastels. So anything that's going to be like super, super, super bright is like what I'm kind of thinking for holiday. I could be wrong, but traditional, you can never go wrong with traditional red and green. I mean, that's just what sells the most. And if you're doing any sort of licensing work, they'll always look for that traditional red and green because they know it's going to sell.
Yes. And I wanted to say too, you had a really important note here that you, I think, probably accidentally skipped over, just about the fact that people will buy your year-round items as gifts for other people. So your shop doesn't have to have holiday-themed items. It just has to have like a holiday-themed feel of excitement.
Yeah. And that's something I wanted to talk about like a little further down, but we can kind of touch on it real quick, is like with items that aren't necessarily holiday, you can still make them work for holiday by changing the tags or making like taking new photos that fit in that. So like, let's just take like my pencil sets, for instance. Like I could take some holiday photos of those with like really bright color ornaments or something like that to like play at that holiday feel without like necessarily having a holiday product, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. Where else are we on trends? So yeah, just think super festive on colors. Like we're going bright. It's not going to be like the minimal color palette this year. And then DIY kits are super huge. If you can figure out a way to make a DIY kit, whether it's like a DIY painting kit or a DIY crochet or I don't even know, pottery, whatever, like DIY kits are huge. Those are definitely starting to spike in the trends and the searches. And then ways to make the ordinary extraordinary. So everyone kind of might be, there's like two camps of people where like people are like over like dressing in sweats, or they still want to like live comfortably, but just like take it to the next level. So it's either going to be like super, super glam. So like big chunky earrings, lots of glitzy, like think like 1920s, like roaring 20s kind of vibe, or just like swapping your like normal sweatpants for like a really fancy velvet set for the holidays, that kind of thing. So over the top table decor, like people really, maybe they didn't celebrate together in person last year, but this year they're definitely going to want to do that. So having that over the top table decor, ways to make things extra special, even if it's just like your little family with just like the three of you, 4 of you, 2 of you, whoever, like you can still make things extra special with like placemats, for instance, or, you know, table runners. And then personalized items always do well around the holidays on Etsy and shops. So name puzzles, personalized cutting boards are huge, because that's another trend that we're seeing is like housewarming gifts, because a lot of people bought houses this year. So they want to host people for the gatherings in their new home, their new homeowners. People are bringing gifts for hosting. So personalized cutting boards, you know, the charcuterie tables all and boards all have like had a moment. So those are like definitely popular. So Elizabeth, you got to make some personalized cutting boards with your Glowforge. Those will be huge. So any kind of like housewarming gifts as well.
Yeah, lots of exciting, amazing things. And it was funny because when I read all of this, I was like, man, I feel like I'm right on trend with some of the things I've been experimenting with or even doing for weddings or just playing around with on my Glowforge, like the puzzles and things like that. But I'm actually doing for my brother's wedding. I don't think like my family really listens to the podcast, so I don't think this will spoil anything. But his wedding's September 6th, and all the place cards are foxes cut out on my Glowforge.
I know. You are right on trend. See, with everything you're doing.
Right.
So.
And I feel like I just need to take those and like turn them into personalized name ornaments. And I feel like that could do really freaking well.
I really think that would blow up for sure.
Yeah.
I know. So those are just like some of the trends that I got from like Etsy and Marmalade. You can look at like trending keywords and stuff. And seeing like when things start to spike. And like October is when everything like the spike starts to head up for the holiday season. So if you can have your stuff listed, the sooner the better. You kind of get like well seated into the SEO of everything. This is like more thinking on like an Etsy angle, but it just helps you get found. Because I know a lot of us are like when it comes to the holidays, like you're an Etsy shop seller. So it just like helps to have those tips to get found by utilizing that traffic.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, I would say the earlier the better. Like if you can have holiday things up this month in September, you will be doing yourself a favor. Like when I did my 2020 was a total bleep show ornament last year, I was doing pre-sales in August and it was doing crazy, crazy well and continued to do very well through the end of the year. So just take like the 2020 excitement for the holidays. And I think it's only going to be even bigger this year because people are more comfortable traveling again and are getting excited and ready to like see their families and go bigger than ever. So just remember when you're creating your own products to see how maybe you can reframe some of your products to fit within these trends, even if it's simply using editorial photos or backgrounds with the trendy aesthetic. I kind of like that tip.
Yeah. Yeah, you can still just like reframe, like don't feel like, oh crap, I gotta go make like box stuff or whatever. Like you can still utilize your products to like work within these kind of trends because it's going to be really important too with like merchandising your store, which basically just means making it look holiday ready to just have it look really, really festive. And then of course too, when it comes to like creating the products, I always think it's like you can't go wrong with putting your spin on holiday tried and true sellers like ornaments, stockings, the classic holiday things, putting your own spin on them. Like, how would your shop create an ornament? Like, what would it look like if, so-and-so created a stocking? Like, what would that look like for you? Maybe there's a way you can come up with a fun new product just by thinking of like, how would I do this on those tried and true sellers? So that's a good way to like start brainstorming on capitalizing on those holiday classics.
Yeah, and I was going to say too, Cami, are you bringing your Trim-a-Tree sticker kit back this year?
Yeah, it's back.
Okay. How many of those are you like getting ahead of time?
Well, I've already sold like 75, so I gotta like get those ready to go. I know. It's been a little problematic because I'm trying to find someone to print the sticker sheet that goes with it. But there's a limit on a lot of the printers that I've reached out to. They have a limit on like how many stickers you can have on a sticker sheet. It's like 20, and there's like 50 stickers on that. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I either have to,
were you doing them all from home before?
Yeah, I do them on the Silhouette, which I print them from home, my laser printer, the sticker sheets, and then I just cut them on the Cameo. So I was like, oh, I want to outsource these this year, and I'm like really struggling, like trying to find. I think I might have found one, but we'll see. So I'm trying to like talk to them and be like, look, there's a lot of stickers on here. Like, I'm willing to take some off, but I can't take off 30. Like, that's kind of the
right.
Thing. So they're honestly not too terrible once you just need to spend like a day doing them. But yeah, bringing them back because they did really well last year. And like, that's always been like my thing is like test before you invest. And so everything I've tested, I'm now ready to invest in.
Yes. And now, the trickiness of finding someone who can produce that. But can you trick them and maybe like do 2 smaller sticker sheets with 25 stickers on each?
Maybe. I guess I could like cut it in half. I haven't even thought about that. So
yeah.
That's definitely a possibility. I know. I'm like, someone out there can do this. Like, this is not, like I'm willing to pay more. So someone is going to do it. I will figure it out like I always do. But, oh, goodness. Yeah. The Trim-a-Tree sticker kit. I feel like that like went along the lines of like DIY or like something to do,
Yes, for sure.
So that did super well. So yeah, I know. I was like, oh, maybe I just revamped the whole stickers completely because people were like, do this on it. Like, I don't know, but whatever. We'll figure it out later.
I love your original version. I feel like you might make a second one or a different Christmas one eventually that's like trim a stocking or something else, like.
I think I would want to do like an advent calendar type of one because I really want to do an advent calendar one day. So that's another thing too, guys. Advent calendar searches are like up. I looked at the number, but I can't find it. They were up a lot. So definitely something to consider. Advent calendar. And the other one was Christmas Eve box, whatever the heck a Christmas Eve box is. You can make your own Christmas Eve box and market it however you want. So that was a search term that was up.
Interesting. So let's talk a little bit then about keywords for the Etsy shop listings, SEO in general, etc. So adding things like stocking stuffer or Christmas gift for mom or Christmas gift for husband. But I think you mentioned, Cami, it's really important to add non-Christmas keywords to your listings too.
No, add keywords to non-Christmas listings as well. Like,
sorry, I mixed that up. I read that totally wrong.
No worries. Like Etsy puts together a gift guide every year. They're like, oh, these are, and it's like sectioned out. It'll be like gifts for pet lovers or gifts for your best friend or something like gifts for coworker. So I would go back and look at what Etsy did last year for their categories for that gift guide and start utilizing some of those tags and just stealing them to use. Because Etsy will be actively looking for items to put into those gift guides by using those tags. So it's a little hint to start using those as well. And then also another little hint on the Etsy side is to, if Etsy does like a site-wide sale, like sometimes Etsy will be like, oh, we're doing like a winter sale and it's like 10 days and like you participate, you only get like included if you just add your listings at like 10% off during this like specific time or whatever your discount is. So if Etsy says, hey, we're doing a sale, like it would behoove you to set it up immediately when they announce that they're going to do something like that. Like typically you just have to set your promotion and you're like included. So once they say something like that, I would definitely do it because they're going to be driving traffic to those specific on sale listings and pulling out listings that are on sale. And just like working with anyone who does any sort of editorial work like magazines or Etsy marketing team, they're going to be looking as early as possible to start setting up their emails and content. So if you have your stuff already set up and saying like, hey, I'm going to be part of the sale, they can find you and you have a more likely chance to get featured. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That was a roundabout way of saying that, but we got there eventually. So that being said, your photos have got to be legit. So also, if you wanted to get featured by Etsy, look at what their emails and stuff already look like to see what kind of photos they are featuring.
Yes. Lots and lots of research, my friends. And
Yes.
actually, Cami, I know somebody who got featured on Etsy in either a newsletter or the homepage or something for her garden stakes that she does on the Glowforge.
Yeah.
So we'll have to talk to her about some point about like what happens once you actually get featured, because it can be like very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like exciting but overwhelming. So it would be really fun to talk to her about that process eventually. But
I got an email last year and I was like, one of your products is being considered for an Etsy email. Like, brush up this listing and add a video. And I was like, what? And it was like the Dachshund Through the Snow print. And I was like, I like tried to add a video and I was like, this looks stupid. And I never did. And I never got featured. So that was probably my bad. But
so yeah, you're like, should have just added that video even
I was
though
like,
it looked
this
dumb.
looks so stupid. It's a print. Like, I don't know. I just like, or maybe I did add it. I don't know. It just didn't, it never did get picked up. I got an email being like, it's being considered. So yeah. So like maybe they send you an email beforehand, which is good.
Maybe we would have to
to
ask her if we could get her on the show. That would be awesome. But I'm sure she's cutting things away on her Glowforge still.
Exactly. Yeah. So all those keywords, and where do you start finding keywords for your shop? And this isn't just Etsy as well, you guys. Like, this is also your normal shop wherever you may sell, whether that's Shopify, Squarespace, who even knows. So using keywords, you can Google keywords to start looking at when things start to trend. I love using Google keywords. It's really easy. You can just type in like Christmas cards and see like when the spike is for that. So you want to see like, oh, okay, this is when people are starting to search for Christmas cards and that's when it spikes. So let's start promoting those then. Marmalade is also a great tool. It's paid for Etsy, but there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's pretty cool. And then eRank is another one. But in general, the holiday searches start to spike in October, and then it's just like gangbusters in November. So that's when like the huge spike starts to just like trickle up. So October is a game day, guys.
Game day, everyone.
Game day. It is game day. So that is pretty much all the prep work going into it. Just like getting your head wrapped around like what type of products you're going to be putting out, the trends, seeing when the keywords are about to go off. So yeah, you should already be like starting to plan stuff in your head, at least.
Yeah. In your head and beyond.
In your head and beyond. Like, if you can go ahead and get your stuff out, that is awesome. If you get it out later, it's still going to be okay. My stuff always comes out later. And you know what? It's still totally fine. And no one's going to die if you get it out later. It's going to be totally fine. So don't stress yourself out too much. But just remember, the earlier, the better. So.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So prep work, we did all that jazz. And then let's talk about visuals and assets, because that's another part of prep work that's not as fun, because I hate taking holiday photos. Although last year I really liked it.
Last year I think you kind of had fun with it.
I feel like I don't know how I'm going to do better than last year, because I feel like I like just got in the magic zone, and now I'm like, I don't even know. But last year, you guys, I like made this pink fireplace and I set up this cute little space in my studio, and it just like worked. It just looked so darn cute for holiday photos. I had this day where I like set up a self timer and like used my little ring light, and I had like cake and all this stuff, and it just like did this whole shoot with all my different products. And I was like, this is like the best shoot I've ever done for my products. It just came together. Even Elizabeth was like, your photo's really good. I'm like, I used the portrait mode on the iPhone. Like,
yep.
It was just magical. And I'm like, oh, how can I top that this year? But having those visuals, I think that was like also, I think that definitely helped me last year, was just having like a really cohesive look to my collection with all those really awesome photos that weren't just mock-ups, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, mock-ups are great, but sometimes they can just look a little mock-up-y, you know? They don't have a lot of life going on. So,
well, yeah, a mock-up can only have so much personality unless you're like really, really going all out. There's people, I think, can still pick up on those visual cues and kind of tell the difference. And so then it's harder for them to imagine a product in their own life, you know, like if it doesn't evoke a certain feeling, I guess. So like shooting the actual physical product itself instead of mocking it up, I think helps for like that reason from a psychology standpoint.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's like so much you could go into with like product photography.
Yes, we are going to do a whole episode on DIY product photography before the year's over. So that's coming down the pipeline.
Yes. So by then, maybe you'll have all your holiday stuff ready, and then you can do your little fancy shoot in just like 1 or 2 days. Because I do like create my own mock-ups as well for like cards. I'll just kind of make my own that kind of match whatever the vibe is for the holiday season, what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that is helpful, but no one else, you're not getting it from somewhere else. So it's still your own.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, big difference for sure.
Big difference for sure. And I think too, now obviously everything is pushing for video. Instagram's pushing for video. Etsy's pushing for video. If you can shoot video while you're doing it as well, like you're just going to be a winner for sure. So shooting that video, and then keeping in mind too, with whatever you're doing photo wise or video wise, it's all about like showing that item's giftability. So maybe if it's even like unwrapping it or putting it under, or wrapping it up and putting it under the tree or something like that, where it just like connects that shopper to be like, oh, that's a great gift. Like, where maybe you just show yourself like wrapping a bunch of things that go well together and like putting it under the tree, like that kind of thing. Just you want to just like play up giftability, like have that phrase in your head, like giftability. So like one of the things I'm thinking about for giftability this year is like, I have the wine tags. I had myself holding them last year. I need to show myself like handing it off to someone else, like as a gift. You know what I mean? Like that would be such a great way to be like, look how easy this is to gift, you know? And just like those visual cues are so important for the shopper. And having great photos too is also like a trust cue for your shop. It's like, oh, she has really great photos. Everything looks really good. Like I trust this shop. You know, if everything's like janky looking, you just don't trust it as much. So it automatically builds up a ton of trust for shoppers. And you're going to have a lot of new eyes on your shop this year. So you're definitely going to want to have as many trust cues as possible.
Yes, I absolutely agree on all of those things in every single way.
Well, thank you. But yeah, basically your shop, you're just getting it ready for the holidays. Think about like the mall or any shops you go to when, you know, in person, like it gets that holiday feeling, like they have their holiday candle burning, there's Christmas lights and sparkles, and you're just like, oh, it feels so good. Like I love Christmas time. Like how can you take that feeling and bring it over to your shop? Like obviously you can't burn a Christmas scented candle in your shop, so you're going to have to do it in more creative and unique ways, whether it's your messaging, your photos, your videos, any of that. Just make it feel like Santa's workshop.
Yeah. Do you know what's really funny when I think of this? And maybe this will be kind of tangential, but Will and I talk about this a lot because we think perfume advertisements are just about the funniest thing you can
they're
watch.
So great. Yes.
And honestly, if you need some inspiration, just go YouTube or Google perfume advertisements and watch them, because the way they creatively try to express that something smells good is so funny. And take those principles, those crazy principles, that like feeling, right? They're trying to evoke this feeling and try to put that feeling back into your own visuals and your own assets for your shop. Like, what little things can you add to your pictures that give it extra life? You know, is it like a little popcorn strand because that makes someone super nostalgic for the holidays? Like, is it a candy cane because people are like, oh, they can taste this, and oh, this card would be perfect for so and so because they love, I don't know, they love candy canes. I don't know, those funny things, but I just think perfume ads are hilarious, and I needed to say it.
They totally are. I mean, yeah, it really is like all that like marketing stuff is like so wild and so fun to think about. You could really go down rabbit holes with that. So just like let yourself get lost in the holiday-esque thing. You know, another good place to look too is like candle shops, because you can see like how they're describing the scent, you know, like how are they saying like, oh, this it smells like a campfire on a, you know, snowy day and your grandma's making cookies, that kind of thing. So how can you like work on your copy to have that? And then, you know what, if you still don't have all your copy perfectly in place, that's going to be fine, because half mine is janky. So anyway, if you can do the most, have at it. So yes, visuals and assets. Oh, and then also too, with talking about like visuals and assets, not only on the online side, but also when you're physically shipping the item to the person, you can make it fun by adding in maybe some fun holiday tissue paper or some stickers, or maybe you do red ribbon around everything, things like that, where you're like, how can I add just a little extra zhuzh this year for the holidays? So that's always fun. I usually do a Merry Christmas sticker that I stick on the outside of the package instead of my usual thank you sticker. My tissue paper is honestly this like kind of greenish color that works all the time, but I will probably add in holiday, this confetti I used. So I also used it for like the Star Spangled Summer collection. I had like red, white, and blue, this confetti that I get from Studio Pep. I think it's super cute. They're just like paper pieces, so it's not like the worst if it gets everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like glitter, but it's still kind of like fun. So I'll just like throw a little bit in there. So I'll probably do something like that this year because I just like really enjoy that with my, or like throwing in little party punchies. Like I do that for my wholesale orders. I throw in confetti and like butterfly punchies all over it. It looks freaking cute as crap. So stuff like that, like how can you make it feel like an experience when they're opening the gift? That's also leads to for them sharing it on Instagram, that kind of thing. But just sprucing it up a little bit for the holidays.
Yes, exactly. I love it.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we have the product. We are prepped. We have visuals and assets because we did an awesome photo shoot with something cool. We came up with copy that sounds like we're describing scents. And we have holiday tissue paper. Let's see. Let's talk about like marketing and all that jazz because, you know, not just taking the photos, but actually putting those photos in places where they're going to get seen and how to come up with campaigns that are going to be great, sales, all that jazz. So Elizabeth is really good at organizing email campaigns early. I fly by the seat of my pants, so maybe don't listen to me on this.
I don't know. I've become more of like a fly by the seat of my pants person with emails recently than you would think, but
I mean, obviously emails have to be part of your campaign. If you don't have an email list, just start one now. If you got 5 people on it, it's still good practice to start sending emails. So obviously you don't have to like make all your emails right now, but you can start thinking about, oh, when do I want to send them? Like, when do I want to launch my collection? So I'm going to send a holiday launch, and maybe I'll send one a week before that, being like, something is coming, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll send one, you know, and then like Black Friday. That's just the whole thing with the emails. So figuring out what you want to do with that. But I promise you, there's like, unless you're sending like 10 emails a day, you really cannot over email. Like I highly doubt we're all going to over email because it takes time to put those together. So if you're emailing someone every day, I mean, sometimes I do send emails every day and it's been absolutely fine. So you got to stay at top of mind in the holidays and people are used to being bombarded. So you might as well just be part of the bombardment. That's my little strategy on that one.
Right. That's the strategy. And like you have to remove the emotional side of email marketing. I'm sorry. I'm getting very distracted by this like spider that's climbing up and down the window in my office.
No worries. You're fine.
Reining it back in, everyone. Reining it back in. Because what I was going to say about email lists, which I'm always very passionate about, is if people aren't there to like stick around and they leave because you send one too many emails, so what? It literally does not matter. And you just have to get in that headset of like, you are doing yourself more good by being persistent, by putting yourself out there, by making your name top of mind for people, than by worrying that you might tick someone off by sending one too many. And like, I feel like one a day during the holiday seasons is not abnormal at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're on Michael's email list, they send like one email a day, like throughout the normal year. Like,
oh my gosh.
Which I had to like unsubscribe from that because my promotions folder was just becoming like literally all Michael's emails. But if you enjoy that kind of stuff, it was really funny. Like one of the Michael's emails that I actually opened just so happened to be featuring Diana of Chasing Linen.
Oh, that's like, so fun.
And I rarely open them. And then I like screenshot it and sent it to her. And I was like, dude, I never open these emails. And the one I opened just so happened to have you in it. And kind of a fun little random tidbit there. But just don't be scared. Just do the dang thing. Just put yourself out there. And who cares what people are grumbling about behind their computer screens. Yes. I don't care.
Don't worry about it. It'll be fine because the right people will see it. And I will say too, like for me last year, sending emails was very, very easy and fun because I had done the prep work of doing all those photos and having really fun photos. So I was like, wanted to show them off and I was like, I have so many to send and people to see. Like I want people to see all these. So it felt fun to send emails instead of like, oh, I got to find a photo that's going to work. Like it helped me I don't know. I just felt like I had like all these tools. Like I was like, okay, I can put together a little gift guide here. I can do, my 3 favorite picks or just like a little focus on gifts for wine lovers or something like that. I don't know. Like there's so many different things you can do, not just being like, here's something to buy. Like how can you like serve your clients with email lists too? And I think little gift guides and things like that are also just super great. And people are expecting them this time of year, and everyone loves a holiday launch. I can tell you when I send a holiday launch email, that's usually like my biggest site traffic of the entire year. So this year was Star Spangled Summer Collection, but we're going to top it in holiday because we just do. That's what we do.
You said like your Star Spangled Summer Collection did better in the first week than your holiday collection last year or something crazy?
Yes. So now I'm like, let's see what the holidays do.
Yeah. And like, why do you feel that was? Was it because you had prepped all your photos and you had teased it for so long? Like just to give people an idea?
I grew my audience so much and between, the holiday and now, and I have the party pins. There's just like a different level of excitement, I have like a new audience with my shop.
Yeah.
So
more
new
party people.
Yeah, exactly. So there's just like, and the party people seem like the people who buy from small shops, they seem to understand that small shops do drops and things are limited. I don't know. There's just like, it's a different audience. So I think that's why it did so well. So it will be fun to see how the holidays go with it too. And I think I just have a better grasp of like who I am as a shop owner now. You know what I mean? So
yeah, totally.
You just keep improving. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with holiday if I can pull myself together enough.
You will. It always happens. It always does.
So yes. Okay. So email campaigns, obviously huge. And then if you have those photos too, your social media becomes a breeze because you just have all those nice photos. Like I love my holiday photos last year, guys. I just really do. I wish I could post them again this year.
I guess I can, right? It's not like you can't.
It's not like you can't. I got to do something else that's funky and fresh. So.
Yeah, maybe not the photos of you because like those are very reminiscent of like where you were in your stage of life last year. But like the photos of the products, you can probably sneak a couple in there.
Yeah, I mean, of course. So and it will probably still have a similar colorful feel. I loved them so much. Okay, so let's talk about
What about if your retail space is just dedicated to holiday?
Oh my God, I know. Well, if retail space is open, I'm like, that'll be cute because I'll have a good place to take photos. But who knows when it'll be open. So also with wholesale, want to start talking to wholesalers like right now because they are literally snatching up holiday like it's going out of style. So my strategy is because I never have my stuff in time, my new stuff in time for when people are buying in July and August is like, they're going to buy last year's stuff and it's going to be fine. So you can always still promote last year's stuff to your retailers for wholesale orders. Just start like bringing up holiday stuff. Be like, oh, I have greeting cards for the holiday. Just start getting those emails out, especially if you're on Fair using their email marketing platform is really helpful because I feel like I get a lot of traction from those. So it's the holidays, guys. That's basically all it is. It's the holidays right now. Don't wait till later to start reaching out to wholesalers, especially because by the time if you reach out to them in October, it's like too late. Although I will say they might be doing a second round of ordering by then because for some reason, I feel like they have been ordering later and later in the year with retail. It seems to be not as much of a trend to order early. So you still have like a chance to get some sales with that as well. But the earlier the better. Just get them top of mind.
Yes.
And then one of the things I'm definitely going to be utilizing a ton this year is I talked about this in our Star Spangled Summer Collection episode where I talked about like secrets to a successful launch. And I partnered with a bunch of influencers with my products for that. And it was really beneficial. So I'm definitely going to be utilizing that type of marketing this year and just sending some of my stuff for free to people to be like, hey, show this on your stories because I felt like that was really, really great. You might need to pay for this. I think it is a great way of doing marketing. It's just working with like different people, like different influencers, people who are like going to show stuff on stories. I mean, it's super helpful.
Yes. And how did you decide on which blogs and influencers you were going to use? Are these people you were already aware of that you were like, this makes sense for my brand? And then once you made that decision, once you kind of determined that, how did you reach out to them? Is that something like Jacqueline sending a one-liner to be like, hey, do you want to do this with us? Can you give a little more insight into that, what that looks like?
Yeah. I mean, for the Star Spangled Summer one, that was kind of like not something I planned. It just kind of worked out with like working with the gals from House of Fett. So they had all my stuff and they're basically influenced on their own personal Instagrams as well. So they already had the stuff and they were promoting it. And I was like, wow, this is working out really well. And then people were actually just buying stuff and showing it. And influencers were like, I just found you from this and I love your stuff. Like, I want to work with you whatever you do next. And so we just kind of connected over DMs, and they were reaching out to me being like, can I collab with you on back to school, like with your first day pennant? And I could see they have, 40,000 followers or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'll send you a first day of school pennant, like whatever. So most of them are actually reaching out to me, but it kind of came from working with like one or two in the beginning. And there was a few that I was like, oh, their audience and like what they're posting would really align with my brand. And I reached out to them and I was like, I'd love to send you, this for your two girls. Like, let me know if that would be okay. And like, yeah. So when we get their info, it's really low key. Like, I'm not like sending emails, be like, let's have an official thing. Like,
yeah,
this is just more low key. And you can be like super official with it. This is just like my experience with it has been like, I feel like I've like built a relationship with these influencers over the past like couple months. Them seeing all the stuff and me commenting back on things and following them and actually interacting. And they're reaching out and being like, I want to work with you on this. Like, do you have something coming up for Halloween? Like, I definitely want to be like one of the people who promote your stuff. And so I want to be proactive and be like, hey, I'm doing holiday. Can I send you something? Like, instead of them asking me asking them. So just kind of building that mutual relationship.
Perfect. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I think it works better when you already have a little bit of relationship in place, like you were saying, instead of just like a cold email to someone you've never talked to before.
Yeah. I mean, there was someone I wanted to work with and I sent her a cold email and I could see like it was probably stuck in, or not an email, DM. I could see it was probably like stuck in her, probably unread or whatever. But then she eventually reached out to me and was like, oh, I just saw your message. Like, yeah, I've been noticing you on so many other shops. Like, I want to work with you too. And I'm like, great, well, we'll do something for the next launch or whatever. So yeah, so that's been really good. I don't even know how you like get into that, but if you can figure out a way to like get people on board with your brand and being like cheerleaders for you. And the best way to do it is be like, hey, I'll send you this for free. Like, don't be like, I'll give you this for 50% off. Just send it for free. It's a very low cost investment for you to get in front of a different audience. Like, that's how I look at it. I'm like, instead of paying for ads, I can send something that costs me like $2 to make and pay for, shipping. So it's like a $5 investment.
Right.
So like if they didn't post something, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So cool. I love that.
Yes. So that's really good for marketing. I'm definitely playing that up this year. Let's see, other marketing tips. Setting up the sales for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that jazz. I mean, there's just so much you can do, guys. I don't even there's so many different ways you can tackle this. Like, I can't even like go down this rabbit hole, but
Black Friday sales could be a whole entire episode in itself. And we won't burn Cammie out on this right now because this is just a lot and a whole other different thing. But the thing I will say about Black Friday is that it's something you definitely want to be considering. Does that mean that you're adding free shipping for your shop? Does it mean that you're doing some sort of 20% off deal? Does it mean that for the 3 days, because there's Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Giving Tuesday, I don't know, there's like all these things now, Cyber Monday, so it's really like 5 days of sales. Like, do you do a different sale every single day to get people's attention? Do you do special bundles? Do you do that they get more % off the more they spend in your shop? Like, literally infinite ways to approach this. The point is that just sit down now to start thinking about what works for your shop. If your profit margins for your products are pretty small, maybe it'll be better for you just to do something along the lines of like a 20% off on Black Friday for 5 days. Maybe you're just keeping it super, super simple. But if you feel like you really know your numbers super well, I think that gives you a little more leniency to play around with things and make them extra fun, which Cammie and I love doing for Black Friday for Biz Birthday Bash, as you guys probably know and probably remember. We'll do like a certain product featured every day. So like Black Friday, maybe the contract will be on sale that day. And then maybe Small Business Saturday is when the membership is on sale. And so you could even do that for your own business. Like, maybe greeting cards are on sale one day, like an extra good sale. Maybe prints are on sale one day. There's, like I said, there are infinite ways to approach this. I feel like Cammie and I truly could do an entire episode alone on like Black Friday, sales psychology, emails, and all these things. But we're kind of going to keep it at that for today.
Yes. I mean, and the other thing too, guys, I just want to put it out there. Like, don't feel like you have to do sales just because everyone else is doing them. Like, don't feel like you have to keep up with everyone else. Like, if it doesn't work for your shop, it doesn't work for your shop. If you're doing like, super one of a kind thing, one of like handmade things, and just like you cannot make the profit margin work, don't do it. It's going to be okay. I will also say too, I think you would be missing out on some really good traffic, because that's just when people are like ready to spend money and they're looking for the sales. So for me, I will always be going to be participating in them. I know some people are like anti-Black Friday, anti-sales, all that stuff, but you got to do what's best for you on this one. Once again, that's always our advice is like, just do what works for you. It's like always like the worst advice.
I know, right?
But you really do have to pick what works for you. This year, I'm probably going to just do a sale that lasts for like 3 days or something like that, instead of doing something different every day. And then with just like a couple other like fun, just like flash sales sprinkled in with like, free shipping on today only or something like that, just to like keep stuff moving. It's always nice. It's a good way to drive traffic to your site, and it's a good way to connect with your audience again. So easy excuse for sending an email, right?
Yes, super easy excuse.
Yes, exactly.
And you guys did like such a huge sales stuff for fair. It's like almost like the fair summer sale was like your Black Friday this year.
The fair, the 2 markets fair does every year. Just like there's like 2, so it's basically the 2 Black Fridays every year of wholesale sales. So it's just like a big push. Yes, and so that this is the big push. Basically, just make sure you like clear out your time, that you're to have time to pack all these orders that you sell. So maybe don't be doing any custom stuff during the holidays, or, planning vacation right after Black Friday or something like I did,
Right.
because it will ruin your life. But other than that, yes, just make sure you have the time. And that brings us also into ordering supplies / inventory, unless we want to talk about Etsy ads real quick.
Yes, I was going to say, why don't you touch on your last point real quick before you go to the next one?
Well, let's take a ad break real quick, actually. And by ad break, I mean I need to go to the bathroom.
All right, sounds good, everyone.
Okay,
we will be back in just a minute. Hey there, fellow stationers. Are you creating custom invitations and still sending a lackluster contract that's hacked together with Google searches and generic templates? We've got you.
We've created a custom stationery contract written for stationers by stationers, and it is lawyer reviewed and approved. #LegalRockstar. The custom stationery contract template covers every stationery snafu, protects you and your client's interests, and sets up an expectation of professionalism. We've combined our previous contracts as well as years of experience to bring you a contract that covers your booty and your biz. Become a put-together pro and breathe a sigh of relief knowing that you have a contract that is easy to understand and avoids confusing legal jargon.
The custom stationery contract template is only $297, which is much less than what you can expect to pay anywhere else, and it's written by 2 gals who have seen it all.
Spoiler alert, it's us.
It's time to do things right. Go to bizbirthdaybash.com/contract to purchase and download your copy today. And as a special treat, use code PODCAST2020 to get $20 off. And that's podcast all caps 2020 to get $20 off. Woohoo! All right, everyone, we are back, and I think, Cammie, you were just about to jump into saying something about Etsy paid ads for holidays before moving into ordering supplies and inventory.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about Etsy paid ads. I do not remember which episode it was where I talked a lot about my experiment with Etsy ads last year around the holiday season. And it was like bananas, the amount of growth I saw from those and the amount of sales. And I was just like blown away by the fact that they do actually work. I will also put this disclaimer that whatever you throw money at, it needs to already be working. So if you have a janky listing and you turn on Etsy ads for it, it's not going to like fix it. It's not magical fairy dust. It's only going to enhance what's already happening. So if you have a listing that's doing really well, this would be a good one to put onto your Etsy ads. One of my strategies right now is that I turned off my holiday Etsy ads, all my holiday listings over the summer after the holidays, because I was like, there's no point in putting any of my advertising budget towards those holiday things. But I am going to turn all the ads on now, August 12th. As we're recording this, I'm turning on all my holiday Etsy ads so I can start getting well seated on those and getting them forefront to on any pages on Etsy so they show up. And with Etsy ads too, just another quick thing is you don't have to have a super, super huge budget, but you also can't do $1 a day and expect to see results. It's just not going to work because the cost per click on Etsy is like 25 cents, 33 cents. So that's like, if you do $1 a day, that's 3 clicks on a listing. That's not even enough to get you data. So, I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to put like $10,000 into it every month. But you do have to throw some money at it. I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, you just cannot get any traction with 3 clicks that you're paying for. That's literally just wasting money at that point.
Yes. And I wanted to mention really quick that the episode is episode 86. Does your Etsy strategy include Etsy ads? When to use them and when to not. So that's what you would want to search for if you go to bizbirthdaybash.com/podcast and you want all the deets on that episode.
Yes,
that is what it was
more.
titled. It came out in February this year, which is crazy to think about.
Lots more on that. So my Etsy ads, like I just played around with how much money I was putting in a day to see, okay, am I making my money back on this? Like it not just covering my ads, but making money actual profit wise on it and seeing where like the sweet spot was. And around the holidays, I'm upping my budget by like 10 times. Like I just keep incrementally pushing it. And I was like experimenting so much where I was like doing like $500, $600 a day in ads because I was like, well, I'm making the money back from everything I spend. So let's put more. I mean, it literally is like gambling, you guys. It's crazy.
Right.
But you have to monitor it. Like go listen to the episode. It has a lot of tips on there. But I do think it's a really good strategy to utilize around the holidays. Again, if you have your listing set up correctly, it is going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that I've touched on that important aspect of marketing that we didn't really talk about last year, so that was good to have that new tip on Etsy ads, but listen to the episode, lots more on there. Let's talk about ordering supplies and your inventory because this is a doozy. And I'm telling y'all, this gets me literally every single year.
Yep. Every single year, no matter what you think you do to do it right, it always something else comes back and bites you. So it is like it is not a perfect science by any means.
It is never a perfect science. You do the best you can. And I'm always like, I consider myself like a risk taker in my business, or not necessarily like a very calculated risk taker. Like I'm like, I will spend money because I know I will use this thing, or I'm going to make, like, I'm not afraid to spend money, but somehow I still never spend enough on like the things I need. Like for instance, boxes. I'll be like, okay, I'll just order like $5,000 worth of boxes and that'll be enough. Then I'm like, okay. And then I still am ordering boxes throughout the year. And I'm like, how did I not just like already have enough? I do not understand.
So what about looking at how many orders you sent out last year and then like tripling the amount of boxes you used around the holidays?
Yeah.
Would that help?
What I do, which even then is still, this is just an estimate of your growth. So I would look at like, this is where you got to be like coming with your analytics and look at stuff and see like what was your year over year growth from like this year to date over last year. So you can see like how many orders have you grown by then. So mine is up like 300%. So I can estimate we're going to be up 300% over last holiday season. So you would go to like how much you sold during then and do 300% up from that. And that's how many you would be. Again, but you still don't know how many like products are within each order or what size box or whatever. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So that's like the best way to do it. It's just like looking over year percentage wise and guesstimating based off that. Again, the holidays still could have like major growth because you just don't know what it's going to do. But that's the best way to do it, is looking at year-over-year percentages, as well as looking at last year and the year before, like how much did you grow per holiday quarter, basically.
Yes, I was going to ask you, if you spent $5,000 on boxes at the beginning of the year and you're like, this will be enough for the whole year. That was your mentality?
Oh, no, that was like for like the holidays or something last year.
Oh, for the holidays. Okay. Like how many boxes is $5,000 worth of boxes?
I don't know, because that includes all these big boxes, like gotta think wholesale order boxes. I mean, my business has just changed in a lot of ways where I like my boxes are just, I need different size boxes and I need small ones and big ones, and it's just a lot. So I just try to order as much as possible. And like one of the things too is I also would try to keep like floating inventory, like, or floating supplies in my head. So because I had the problem last year of being in my house and it's difficult to store stuff, that's the problem with inventory and ordering supplies. I totally get it, you guys. It's hard for us to like truly get enough without like taking over your whole house or your whole studio or whatever. So I would be like, okay, I'll just like keep reordering this like once a week. And then like as it goes out, more is coming in. You know what I mean? Kind of keeping it like flowing. But then you run into the problem like last year was like shipping delays or things are out of stock. And so that works great when it's not like the busiest time of the year and you're like pushed up against a deadline of getting things out.
Right.
So it is better to just embrace the mess, embrace the spending within reason though. That's the thing. I'm always like, I don't want to be stuck with a ton of stuff, but normally supplies, you are going to always use those. So you will have them for the remainder of the year. So they will eventually get used up. So bite the bullet, go for it, order all those boxes now, order all that tissue paper now. It will be a very it will give you a lot of peace during the holiday season when it's already super stressful.
Okay, perfect. I love that.
Yes. And then inventory. I always screw myself in inventory too. I'm just not good at this. I always try to be so small.
Yes.
I know. But I think I'm going to be a lot better this year because I have somewhere to put it. So that was always a problem. It's just like, where do I freaking put everything? So I understand the struggle, you guys, with inventory. Again, just looking at that data and seeing like what you sold last year of a certain card and like how much you're going to sell this year, or like just a general average of like cards or prints or whatever it is, and just basing off that percentage change. And that's honestly the best way you can estimate with it. So it's never going to be an exact science. A lot of it is gut feeling as well. So you kind of have to go with that. But keeping in mind too, this year has been really crazy with shortages of paper and those kinds of things. So maybe it's better to order more than you think.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, inventory.
I know. Good times.
Oh, and then real quick, while we're talking about inventory too, just to make sure your life isn't absolutely the worst, I highly, 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 highly recommend using an inventory software. I use Trunk, and I think I've mentioned it to you guys before. It is price per order tier. So as you grow, like you're basically priced like as you grow. So it kind of like works with your business. But I love it. It syncs my inventory across all my different shipping, all my different selling platforms. It gives me notices when things are out of stock. It allows me to do bundling and kitting, which means if I put together a bundle box, it will take out the inventory of that. Like if there's 3 products in a bundle box, it'll take out those individual products, like change the inventory on that across all the platforms, which is awesome and super great for keeping up with things. It's just going to make your life so much easier too if you actually know how much you have, how much you're selling. I know it's still kind of in beta as well, so they're putting together reports so you can see those like really awesome inventory trends and be like, wow, this like sold super fast this week or those kinds of things. So if you get in now, you're probably going to be on like the lower side of pricing, like anything with beta. So it's always good to get in early. But that was the first time I had it last year for the holiday season, my inventory platform. And I think it was like well worth every single penny. And it definitely saved my butt a lot because when you're running out of inventory too and you're reordering stuff, you're also spending money on shipping. So the money you're spending on shipping could go towards this inventory platform where you're not having to reorder every week because you didn't know how much you had.
Yes.
So
exactly, guys.
There you go. It saved me a ton on shipping because I was definitely the scrambler, literally placing an order like every day for my printer because I couldn't figure out what I had and what I didn't. Things would sell. I didn't keep things in stock. So this was a huge lifesaver for me.
Yeah. And do you just feel like your ability now, because I definitely remember those days of like you sending things to the printer every single day.
Yeah, it was insane.
Do you feel like now that you have an inventory management in place that you're able to do this a couple times a week? Like, can you put that into more clear terms of like what it looks like from an organization standpoint?
Yeah, so now I'm ordering stuff maybe like once a week or once every 2 weeks. which is a lot
amazing. That
better
is
than
a
every day.
huge change,
I know.
Cami.
And
That's a
think how
huge
much
change.
time it takes like to upload all this stuff when you're ordering things. So definitely, I know even now I'll be like, okay, I'll just order like 300. I'm like, why don't you just order 1,000 instead of messing around because you're going to have to re-upload this next week. Like it's so
Yes.
stupid. So I totally get the fear, you guys. But if you do want to try out Trunk, if you go to CamiMonet.com/inventory, you can try it free for 14 days with my referral link. So
amazing. Yeah.
yes. And
It sounds like it has truly been
Guys,
life-changing.
it
So
really
many
is.
life-changing things for you this year. I feel
I
like
know.
this year, 2021, has been the year of life-changing things for
I love
Cami.
it so much. It's just like the best. I'm so excited. I'm going to know what I have in inventory. It's so great.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's just wonderful. Okay. Let's see. All right. So I think I scared you guys enough on the inventory thing, but we're just going to hope for the best, you guys. We're going to hope for the best. I know I was looking at the, like trying to do the percent change and I was like, based on this, we're going to have like 12,000 orders in December. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I was like, oh, wait. So I don't know. Okay. So number 5, let's talk about your policies and returns and all that jazz, but you got to be in the nitty gritty because customers be crazy. So what I'm talking about here with this, you guys, is you got to come up with your shipping cutoff. I haven't looked up this year for when the shipping cutoff is because they might not even announced it yet because it's still August when the ordering cutoff is for priority mail and first class mail.
I don't know those dates super well.
I don't think they've mentioned it because it's usually on like their Instagram and stuff with USPS. I think we're ahead of the game on that one, but USPS will let you know like, hey, this is our order cutoff for first class mail and priority mail. Last year they did that and it was literally a lie because we all remember the great mail the mail problem of 2020. It was so bad last year. There was just so many packages going back and forth and it was just chaotic. Not enough workers. I mean, COVID like crushed the mail industry and people were online shopping and it was just bananas. So this year I'm preparing that everything's going to take like a million years to get there. So my order cutoff is definitely going to be earlier this year than last year. Another mistake I tend to make is when I make an order cutoff, I forget like, oh, I'm still going to have to like package up those orders after that order cutoff. So if I say my order cutoff December 14th, they might not actually ship till like December 20th because it takes me a while to prep the orders that came in December 14th.
Right.
So keep that in mind. Like your order cutoff should be like a week earlier than when you want to actually stop working.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't be like totally tiring yourself out.
So know your dates for shipping. That's just the biggest thing. Look when those dates are. If you ship FedEx, UPS, I mean, you can have all those listed somewhere in your website, post them on your stories, post them on Instagram, put them in emails. Have like, I did something I did last year. I had a holiday shipping page on my website that listed like, hey, here's what's going on with the mail. Here's the dates. Here's what first class means. Here's what priority means. Like if you upgrade to this is what this means. And also I had like a little gift certificate they could do like a free download that said like your order or like your gift was late and had like a cute little poem. It was adorable. It had a sloth on it. So just ways to serve your customers when things don't get there in time, because that is the reality of what's going to happen during the holiday season. It can be very stressful on you and you have no control as the seller, but the customer is going to come to you because you're their point of contact for that order. So having something prepared, you can be like, hey, go look at the holiday shipping update here. Like I have everything listed here as well as that gift certificate to like, you can still give the recipient and everything will be okay. They just want to feel like you're doing something. So that's going to make it really, really easy for you instead of having to write an email and getting stressed out every single time. So highly recommend doing that, adding that holiday shipping update or page on your website to send out to people. And then you also just have to like, let's all just take a deep collective breath here and realize like shipping is out of our hands. So we're all just going to relax and not freak out when it comes to customers emailing us over the holidays because it can get like so stressful.
Yes.
So we have to just let it go and be like, they're just trying to find their order. I'm going to send this thing. It's going to be okay. Because just don't get worked up, y'all. It's so hard not to, but do your very best. And then also with policies, not just shipping, but return policies, just in case if you have a higher order volume, you have a more likely chance of someone wanting to know what happens if their package gets damaged or they put it to the wrong address and it got delivered there, or they want to return something or whatever. You shipped the wrong thing on accident. Just knowing what you do in all the situations and being very clear. So when you face those situations, you're not just like scrambling to come up with a solution. You already have those solutions in place.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's always good to just set those expectations with your customers too, because they just appreciate that. It makes you look like you know what you're doing. So just be like, okay, how will I handle this situation? Okay, this is how I'll handle it. And there are like case by case things as well, but it's just good to have like that framework of how you're going to operate with your shop.
Yes,
So,
agreed.
yeah, just like with contracts, they just create that framework. They're a referee for any kind of like tense point with, the client or the customer. And this is just going to make it easy for you. So, all right.
Yep. Love it. The last point, you guys, show up and sell.
Yes. The last point is just get your little booty out there, talk about your stuff until you're sick of yourself.
Yep.
And just show up and sell the crap out of it. It's going to be a super profitable season. It always is. It's always so much fun around the holidays. I mean, it's chaotic. It's the Super Bowl of selling, but we love it. So just show up, get in the game, show up on Instagram, show your face, share your products, post every day, send those emails. Just don't be afraid to be annoying in this season, because this really is like, you're still serving your client or your customer by showing up and be like, I have this thing. It's the perfect gift. Like, even if you feel annoying, everyone is looking for the perfect gift. Are we not all scrambling to find something for, the last minute? So if you, frame it that way, maybe you'll feel a little less icky about showing up and selling all the time, because I know it gets exhausting to talk about your product all the time. But I promise you, from your customer's perspective, they appreciate it and they're looking for unique things to gift, unique ways to use things, unique things to bring into their life, the next cool thing that they can share with their friends. So just get up and do what you do best. Go create something amazing. Use those trends. Be the trendsetter. Whatever you want to do, you got this.
Yes, you have got this, you guys. And that officially wraps up the end of the holiday episode, which, poor Cammie basically had to talk an entire hour. So it is time to give her a little rest, and I will end things with the housekeeping notes. Basically, if you have any questions for us, at this point, you should know the drill, but you can go to bizbirthdaybash.com/podcast. Wow, /podcast. bizbirthdaybash.com/podcast and click on the Q and Cake button at the top of the page, or just bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and Cake. That is where you can drop any questions that you have for us about pretty much anything in our businesses. So calligraphy, how we manage our day-to-day, just think outside the box with your questions. I do feel like we're starting to get to a point where I don't want to say we're like running out of questions, but we are getting some repeat questions. So it'd be nice to have some new ones dropped in there. So go surprise us, drop a fun question in there. Make it different, like if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, ask us something crazy that we haven't talked about yet, which I feel like we've probably talked about everything. But other thing is to, of course, leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. Please, 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 especially if you listen to the podcast a lot and get a lot from it. We have people tell us that they love this resource. And of course, this resource is completely free to you guys. It does not cost anything for you to listen. So the least little form of payment you can give us is at least giving us some words of affirmation and encouragement via iTunes. We would absolutely love that. We love reading them and seeing when new ones come through. And you guys are amazing, because we have more than 200 written reviews over on iTunes. But why not get to 300? Am I right? So have a great rest of your day, everyone. I hope this is super helpful. This is super fresh off the press, by the way. We are literally recording this episode 5 days before it airs. So it is coming in hot, serving up those hot
fresh leads.
Hot, fresh leads. That's a joke
I got
from a long time ago.
I got one more thing to say, though. If you guys are looking for support during the holiday season and places to brainstorm strategies and what type of sales to do on Black Friday and all that kind of thing, you should come join our A to Z directory group, because we have the best members in there. And I know like Q3 and Q4, we're going to be talking about all types of holiday selling strategies. And we do our power hours in there too. So it's just a great way to actually get in the thick of things with other shop owners who are doing the same thing and ask questions and share knowledge and resources. And if you're like, where the heck do I make this awesome thing? I want to make stockings. I want to make ornaments with my spin on them. Then you absolutely have to join, because we'll tell you how to make all those things. So join the directory. It's bizbirthdaybash.com/directory. It's like the best time of year to join. It really is.
Yes, we would love to have you guys in there. We are 600 members strong. We have more than 500 of those members in the Facebook group. And I was just looking at our engagement stats the other day. I think like on a regular basis, we have like 350 to 400 people of those 500 something in the group that are actively engaged, which is super impressive.
Amazing. I know. I mean, the group is awesome. Like, it really is. People give really good advice.
The group is like what makes it. I mean, the directory, of course, is super convenient and amazing. And Cami and I reference it for ourselves all the time. But it's the group that makes people like stick around and get so much added value out of it. And for $147 a year, y'all, it is well worth it. I don't know. Cami and I might have to talk about raising the price.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we should actually. Oh man, yeah, no. So maybe do that before we talk about it. But seriously, for the holidays, it's just like nice to have another place like bounce questions off of, or figure out different things. So definitely join. It'll be super helpful for you during this holiday season.
Yep. All right, guys. We love you. Talk to you next week.
Toodles. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Y'all know we are big on protecting your booty and your biz, so we want to tell you all about our secret weapon for mailing invitations for your clients, the USPS mailing agreement. It takes the personal emotions out of stressful situations and lets your clients know exactly what will happen when their invitations go out the door, and it covers you in case anything goes wrong, which, let's be honest, it probably will. I mean, we love you, USPS, but you pray, okay?
Honestly, we've kind of realized that putting a small shipping clause in your contract just isn't enough. Trust us, we know from experience, there are just too many things that can go wrong when mailing. Things like
ripped flaps,
scuffs and scratches,
mishandled envelopes,
postage snafus,
lost invitations never to be seen again,
and rabid, overprotective dogs.
Okay, that one's a little bit of a stretch. Calm down
a little bit. Okay.
Anyway, the point is, all of these are things that you cannot control. So why leave the burden of fate up to the United States Postal Service? Protect yourself with our mailing agreement so your client understands exactly what could happen to their invitations in the mail and how those situations are handled. If you've been scared to mail on behalf of your clients, this is the tool you need to add that next level service to your stationery biz.
Go to bizbirthdaybash.com/shop to purchase your copy today at $97. This is a steal. Seriously, you can't live without it.
It's true. Go get it now.